And now, this week's edition of Big Face with your host, Samantha Jane Tilton.
Hey everybody, welcome to Big Face. I'm your host, Samantha Jane Tilton, and my guest today is actor, comedian, and writer, Craig Geraghty. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. Appreciate that. That's very kind of you. That's very kind of you.
I love that was all you, because I was like, you're gonna do that? That's amazing.
I bring props.
And I was gonna say this when we first logged in here, but yeah. I saved it. Man, you're looking snazzy.
Oh, what? This? Yeah. Well, it's Tuesday, so it's Tuxedo Tuesday.
This is my man. That's bringing it on an average day, but during a Corona day, that's like bringing it.
I have had no excuse for the most part to get dressed.
Yep.
So today's actually my anniversary as well. So I told my wife. Thank you. Thank you very much. 2 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Traditionally, 2 years is cotton. That's the gift.
It's cotton.
But now they changed it to hand sanitizer. Stop it. Okay. That's it. No more of that. I promise you.
I totally dig it. I got to get myself some sound effects. This is great. You're making my job easier, man. I love you already.
Today is, it's my second anniversary. And because of the fact that any auditions, whether it be early on, there were some at-home auditions where I would have to get dressed, and those have vanished. Voiceover auditions, of course, you don't have to get dressed for that. So today,
you never do, even when you go into the studio.
Exactly. Yeah, you feel like, wow, it's like uniform-free day in Catholic school. So today I was like, you know what? I'm going to put on my tuxedo and get ready for this. I was flattered that you asked.
It was so nice. So for those of you watching or listening, so I know Craig through being a casting director and him being in auditions with me, and we never got to know each other super well, but just peripherally, and but always dug you. And then we got to connect through doing Big Face. So yeah, which is partly a huge part of the reason why I wanted to do this. It's a nice way to be connecting right now. Hey, if alone this got you to put on a tuxedo, the show is worth it.
It is. I shaved. My wife just came, she goes, "Wow, you smell great." I'm like,
your wife should thank me. Your wife should thank me.
She will. You will get the flowers today. The flowers that I was going to give her, she'll send to you.
It's fantastic. A Lysol and we'll be good.
Yes. I gave her a bunch of parsley.
Good man. Thoughtful.
It's really, it's slim pickings out there.
Oh my God. I was going to say, like, what do you guys do for an anniversary today? Like, do you have any plans?
No, not really. And that sounds pathetic, but yeah, I cook a lot. So if I would say, I will make her dinner. I do that every night. We'll go for a walk. I will wear I'll wear the pants to this tuxedo because now I'm wearing shorts. And we'll go out for a walk later on. And
it's all about the top. I'm like, gives me a reason to put on like a shirt that's not just a t-shirt pajama shirt. I'm like, yeah.
For her birthday, which was during the pandemic as well, I cut our honeymoon video. So I had, 400 or 500 photos from throughout Italy and videos and things like that. So that was one of those projects to do at home while she was right next to me but didn't know what I was doing.
That's really nice.
Yeah, she liked that. So but I'm out of those. I'm out of that now. I didn't think that we'd still be locked up.
I know.
Yeah.
So I know, what can you do? I would hope that when you're with the right person, you don't need all the hoopla. You don't need necessarily to go out. It's just, even just to be in, it's nice to be with the one you love.
And I got to say, we're both in our 40s, and it's both our first marriage. So it's only 2 years. And almost everybody said, when I said I was getting married, people who didn't know me that well would say, first marriage? And I was like, yes, it's my first marriage. And they're like, no, I don't know a lot of people who get married for the first time in their mid 40s. And, but part of the, one of the great things about that is it's not that we don't try to, please each other and, be romantic and, you still love your person, but, it's less like she doesn't have to run and tell her girlfriends like, oh, Craig did this, or I don't have to tell anybody, well, guess what Maureen did. That's one of the good things of being old and tired.
It's just a very different thing. The maturity of a relationship, when you're in your 40s or in your 30s or late 30s, it's very different from prior relationships, I think. And when you were saying like people go first marriage, and I'm thinking like, he's smart. Like,
well, it's totally true. In the first year that we got, we had so many ups and downs, like family, we lost close family members. My brother was, he was sick with cancer. We wound up losing him. Thank you. And we moved in, we moved out of that apartment, bought an apartment and moved into that one. So like, and planned a wedding and got married and planned a honeymoon and in this really short period of time. And I remember her saying, she was like, how do people in their 20s do this? And I said, they don't. They get divorced, and that's why. And I don't blame them. Like, this is crazy, all the things that we were trying to do.
I mean, that alone, I mean, but I think about who I was in my 20s, and not that I'm not still in my 20s, but I think about that, and I think about getting older. I've become an entirely, I mean, you're always the same person, or at least I am, but like, I'm the best version of myself that I've ever been. Exactly.
I was just going to say, we get older, but I'm the best version of myself today. Tomorrow, hopefully I'm a little better, but it's a slippery slope too, because you can actually go backwards too, because you've done whatever you've done to be a better version. I've done what I've done to become a better version, but just as far as like this business that we're in is concerned, it's you can kind of slip, and there's a confidence that you have to have in the business, in a relationship. And so one of the good things about this is when we met, I've been in this business a long time, and my wife comes from I would say 9 to 5 world, but it's really 9 to 7, 9 to 8.
Yeah.
She works really, really hard.
Wow.
But so she comes from a world, a corporate world where I always tease her. I'm like, you have fax machines and photocopiers and
so different from our world.
Like you guys have, meetings where people sit at big tables. We have meetings in Starbucks. But the beauty of it was when we met, I had gotten to a place in my career and in my sort of own person that I was confident enough to meet this person who my wife is terrific. And people always say, oh, you're lucky you met the right person. And I say, honey, no offense, but if I met you 10 years ago, I would have just gotten out of it sooner. It's like I wasn't,
I get it. My boyfriend is like, this is like the most significant, longest relationship like I've ever had. And for him as well. And he says the same thing. Like, he's like, the stuff that we deal with, like I would have been out, like, like he just wasn't in it to work through things, he just was a different person. He didn't have the maturity, we changed.
And it's been great because when we met, I said, this is who I am. And she said, this is who like on our first date, it was in Bryant Park. And, within like a couple of minutes, my wife was like, I just want you to know, I'm really serious about work. Okay. And I was like, I'm like, all right, Mary Tyler Moore, take it easy, relax here. I'm not interviewing you for a job. But she was, it was something that was really important to her, and she wanted to be clear about that.
Yeah.
And I said, well, my job is really important to me too. And one of the things about people in our business is some people, and I can be guilty of this at times, don't value it, or there's a shyness to it. like, well, your job's really, that's a real job because,
Right.
you have a key card and you go in an elevator.
Yep.
Me, I might be wearing a chicken suit on a
Right.
Monday. And
Chicken Suit Monday,
Yeah, Chicken Suit Monday. So, and that's just the difference between our worlds. Like, she gets worked up about her job, and, and I get worked up about things that I take really seriously. And in the beginning, I don't know if I don't know if she got it at first, but I would say I was up for a voiceover job for Parkinson's, to play the role of Parkinson's.
Got it.
So
as we do.
As we do.
Yes.
And it says the character is Parkinson's. And they're like, all right, Craig, you're Parkinson's. So I booked the job, but unfortunately, my friend's mom passed away. I couldn't do the job. Mm. So I said, honey, the good news is I have Parkinson's. The bad news is I can't accept Parkinson's. So I guess the good news is I don't have Parkinson's. And she'd be like, don't talk like that. And, the weight that I would put on jobs, like, I didn't think I could get engaged, right? So I'm saving for a ring. I didn't think I'd get engaged if I didn't get this Swedish fish job. I was up for this big Swedish fish job, and the commercial world, how finicky it is, right?
Oh.
You're lucky to get the audition, lucky to get the call back, and then you've impressed the director enough. Now the director is hopefully fighting for you with creative and somebody else. And I'm getting emails from my agent, like, they need photos of you with different hair. So I'm going, huh? Like, these people are creative, and they can't imagine me with shorter hair. Right?
It's amazing.
So,
you're saying, like, very real things, which, like, a lot of actors, like, especially people I teach, they're like, wait, I don't get it. You actually, you kind of get some of how this goes.
Yeah, because,
You've done it
20-something
enough.
years in. And so I don't get the job. And I'm like, well, then I'll never get engaged. And that's that, because I didn't get Swedish fish. And of course we wound up, something else came through. I got a ring. We got engaged. We lived happily ever after. And I don't know, maybe it was last summer, sometime when I was up for Preparation H, and we had something else coming up. I said, honey, if I don't get this job, it's going to be a real pain in the ass. So
she must have a good sense of humor.
She does. But having a really good partner helps take some of the pressure off the lunacy of when you say those things out loud. Like, I can't believe I didn't get Preparation H. How is that possible?
Now there's a witness, somebody to hear it, and it all makes sense. Yeah.
So it's good. I'm very lucky.
That's really wonderful. That's really, really wonderful.
Yeah.
Wow. I have so much I want to talk to you about right now, just based on everything that you just said. So you've been in the business a while.
Yeah. Yeah. I started, go ahead. Sorry.
No, please go.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I technically dated to 1996.
Okay.
That's when I did stand up for the first time. So that's where it started.
Did you continue doing stand up?
Yeah. I always wanted to be in stand up. We had a 8th grade newspaper or something. It came out once a year.
Yeah.
And everybody, had to say what they wanted to be. So doctor, nurse, lawyer. And I put stand up comedian. So that was 1987. And it just kind of gnawed at me. But like I said earlier, I didn't have the confidence, not necessarily to do stand-up. I didn't have the confidence to even just say, I would like to be an actor or a comedian. So throughout high school, I wouldn't do a play because that's not for me. That's for these guys.
Exactly me. Yep.
I grew up in Woodside, Queens. There's one of my buddy Chris, but there were no actors. And, this was not the neighborhood for actors. So
Woodside.
You know what I mean? It's like, this is New York's Southie.
Yeah.
And
New York Southie.
So there was nobody going into acting. So I kind of hit it all through high school, and then basically all through college. I majored in history and politics. I was a high school teacher for 2 years. Wow. And just prior to becoming a teacher, a buddy of mine said, you always talked about it. Well, I can get you an open mic spot. So I went Stand Up New York, January of 96, and did 10 minutes. Looking back, they were probably terrible, but I had all friends in the audience, so they laughed. And
all you
but
need.
that was it was like, ooh, the fuse was lit.
Yeah.
And that feeling was like, holy shit, I've been waiting for this forever. I don't know why I denied it. And
I just got the chills. Yeah.
I just kept going. And there was a guy there that night. His name was Alan Chan. And Alan had been around for a while at that point. And he was like, hey, you were funny. I'm doing a job at this thing. Why don't you come and do? And in my head, I'm like, I don't have I don't really have jokes. I don't
have a bit.
Like,
I don't have a set.
Yeah. He goes, no, you're funny. Don't worry. That was great tonight. And it was also like, well, I'm not going to tell this guy 5 of my brothers and my sister were here tonight, so I just went with it. And, it just, one thing led to another. So I stayed with stand-up for years, and that rolled into improv, and then improv turned into acting, and acting turned into some writing and less and more commercial work, and then more TV film. And I made a couple of my own short films and directed a feature. And it was all, it was all from,
amazing.
I don't want to say self-taught, because that would be a disservice to all the people who I was glomming off of.
Self-catapulted and absorbed everything you could around you and the people. And I feel like, because I'm somebody that left to my own devices, just to do it alone, I can get overwhelmed. I can feel lost. I can feel like, I say this all the time, like everybody else got the instruction manual to do all this stuff, and I didn't.
Yeah.
And I
Where
feel
did you
lost.
grow up?
I grew up in Long Island.
Okay.
Yeah, in Belmore. So now I'm in Queens, actually. Yeah, I'm like hell like that. But yeah, so it takes the spirit to keep going and to keep fighting. Nobody can give that. I'll speak for myself. Nobody can give that to me.
No.
That has to be up to me. But then it takes me reaching out and asking and learning and continuing to learn. And then all those people contributed to what I'm able to do. But
it's true. And it takes you.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, you have to make that, keep making that choice to keep moving forward.
Yeah. Yep. And
it's not an easy choice.
I think after you've made the initial decision of, this is something that I'm going to do, it's not an easy choice to go forward, because you get, the door slammed in your face nonstop. But I think if you're honest with yourself, you also know that it's a really hard choice to say, I give up. Because at least for me, if I say, I give up, I have to live with that for the rest of my life. So I'd rather, I always say to a friend of mine, I'd say, I'd rather die trying, because then I'll never know if I was a success or not. I died.
I always say that, like, when there have been times that I've thought about what else, like I studied psychology and I love humans, and I'm like, I could be a therapist. And while I love to give in that way as well, whenever I've thought about walking away from being an actor or being in the creative field, that it's like immediately I feel like I can feel something die, like inside me. Like I always say, it's almost like I feel like if I were to do that, it is spitting in the face of the universe. It just feels selfish and self-driven, because it feels like it's not up to me. And who am I to make that choice? There's this thing inside me. You get it. You get what I'm saying, I think.
No, I mean, you are preaching to the choir.
I know.
And
I can tell you get it.
I have had that. I look at it almost like a, I don't want to say a revelation, but for years and years, I knew that this was something I should be doing. Right. So God did not give me the arm to throw a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Right. He did not give me the height to dunk a basketball, or the brains to go into, to work the fax machine in the office. Of course, the office has not moved past 1992 in my world. Yeah. They're all sitting there. I need somebody make a ditto of this, please. Can somebody make a ditto?
This is the carbon copies happening.
Get this in the mail right away. So, God didn't give me that. So I've asked like, oh, well, then what did I get? So this is what I got. So this is how I have to use it. And, I do pray a lot. I'm a big prayer. Differently. I'm born and raised Catholic, and was an incredible, like, all-star altar boy.
Yeah.
Legendary.
Die Hard.
Yeah, people are still talking about it. They're
I
like,
don't doubt it.
old ladies are like, he's no
You
Craig
remember that?
Geraghty.
He's no.
Craig Geraghty, he could do the wine, the water, hold the book. He was great.
He did it all. He's got it all.
It was incredible.
I'm a Jew and I can't get over it.
Look at this guy. I shouldn't even be here. I just came to see him. That's how good he is. He's getting
wow. I'm shocked and awed.
Have you ever seen such an altar boy?
Such an altar boy.
So I pray differently now. I used to pray like, God, let the Mets win. I need this. I need a 70 on my math test so I don't go to summer school. My relationship has changed quite a bit. Now it's more like, okay, look, you're in charge. I'm just looking for what I'm supposed to be doing. And that goes a lot easier, right? Because I feel like it just makes the choices easier. So like you were saying,
interesting.
Spitting in the face of the universe.
Yeah.
I look at it like I'd be silly to say to God, all right, so this is the thing you gave me.
Yeah.
But I think I should be a gardener.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. For me, it feels like just such strong self-will. And it's interesting because Jewish people, at least the way I grew up, you're not taught to pray. Like, I learned how to read Hebrew and stuff, but you don't like pray as a Jew.
Mm-hmm.
At least I didn't know to. And that was more of a Catholic thing. And it's only as I've gotten older, and I don't have a whole God thing. I have something that's greater than myself. And a lot of the time that's the universe, and that's whatever it is.
Absolutely.
But my praying is a lot of help me be the best version of myself that you would have me be today. Help me to be in the world and give and not try and take. Just try and like get my boyfriend hates when I say this phrase, but get out of my own way.
Oh, absolutely. No, I make it like I said, you're preaching to the choir because I say the same things, where I feel like if I'm really like just pushing against the grain, if I'm able, I'm at my best when I'm able to just stop and say, this is clearly not meant to be, move on.
Right.
But when it comes to, like you said, when it comes to this business, this world, I define it as entertainment. So whether I'm behind the camera getting to direct something, or I'm in a commercial where, in a commercial, I hate to use the word star, but normally in a commercial, you don't have some sort of a big cast, right? So if I get cast in a commercial, it's usually either just me or me and, the lady playing my wife or one other person.
Exactly.
Now you go and you do Law and Order or a movie, and people are just trampling, at least in my case, unless it's maybe one of the recurring roles that I've had or something like that. But, like a day player on a TV show. People, they're just totally dismissive of you. And, there are those days where I'm like, but this is part, so that's part of the entertainment world. Just like on the day when you've got this great, commercial where you have to go to Spain for 3-4 days and shoot something.
Yep.
That's great. Exactly. As I mentioned, I do a lot of cooking. I do a live cooking show.
Yeah.
And I call it stand-up cooking because I'm not a great cook. I'm okay. I'm better than, Joe Blow. But I'm putting on a show. I'm telling jokes. As I said, I call it stand-up cooking. Because to me, it's entertainment. There's 40 people in the audience. They're laughing. And they're laughing because I said something. I didn't know what I was going to say beforehand. But somebody asked me a silly question. I made it funny. To me, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm supposed to do.
You're being of service.
Yeah.
I think there's something, I think that's amazing. And that's one of the things I wanted to ask you about. You did mention that you do your stand-up cooking show. And you also said that that's your way of getting to do comedy and not have to be dealing with all the hoopla that comes along with being in the comedy world. Because again, just like being an actor, there's a lot of politics and a lot of stuff that goes there.
Oh yeah. And I was never very good at it. So after a couple of shows, I recognized people would have me on the show. I had a lot of friends. People would come down and see me. And I recognized, well, I don't know if they want me or they want my friends. And more than likely it was they wanted my friends. I wasn't that good yet. I was still pretty young. And I remember I did a show. I'll leave the comedy club out of it. I don't want to get.
I know I do that. I'm always just like, I'll just leave that. Like.
So I'm doing a comedy club, and an owner who he was notorious for being not very kind to comics.
Yeah.
I brought down, not me personally, but I had 104 people for a show that I did. A lot of these folks came to see me, and I wound up doing like 40 minutes. It really went great.
That's going great. That's wow.
Yeah, I was really it was such a great night. And I remember calling up like the next day or two saying, "Hey, wanted to come in and get a spot."
Yeah.
And he said, just bring down 5 guys. And I said, "Come on, I just brought you 104 people."
Yeah. That doesn't carry over. There's no nothing.
No spill over here. He goes, no. I get you something on Tuesday night. So it's about 2:00 in the morning on a Tuesday. I'm on stage, and there's like 4 people in the audience. Some guy yells out from the corner, like, "Yo, I went to high school with you, bro." And I'm like, wow, this is terrible. But that is such a part of the stand-up world. And I did a lot of that. And I have great respect for stand-ups who still do it. I still have the desire to do stand-up. I still do sort of enough during the year that I kind of keep my card, in my opinion, because I still write jokes. I still host a show a couple of times a year. And then I do about 50, 60 of these comedy cooking shows a year. So I couldn't let the thing go. I just had to find a different way to do it. So I'm different in the, and I have a lot of stand-up comedy friends who, they can play any room. And I don't want to, I can play a lot of rooms too.
Yeah.
But in order for me to play rooms effectively at the quantity that I want, I developed this sort of roundabout, and I'm okay with it. I'm totally fine with it.
I think that's so awesome and amazing and inspiring. It's funny, and I'll say this because I was thinking about this earlier, or either last night or this morning, but how, like, my point to do this, the reason I actually wound up doing this was, even though Corona happened, because it's not the way I pictured. It's not perfect at all. So different. What? And I was thinking, like, if I would have kept the idea of this has to go somewhere, if I do it because I want the outcome to be that I'm going to then I wouldn't have done it. I had to keep it simple. And I feel like that for a lot of things, that if I don't hold on to the outcome, that it has to be about the success, or not that I don't want to be successful at whatever I do, but that it has to be for the reason of doing it, which was to help people during this time, to connect with people. And then the rest will take care of itself. And you know what's funny? And the reason I share this, you said that, like, you wanted to be a stand-up comic, and you wrote that, was it 8th grade? And it makes me laugh because in 6th grade, under your picture, when we graduated, it was like what you want to be when you're older. And mine said talk show host. And,
nice.
And I remember all the mothers were like, she's so sweet, she's so cute, like, oh, that's funny. And I didn't understand why they thought it was so funny, because that's so unrealistic. But you know what? I guess to say that, like, to say, you never know how things are going to happen. And you wanted to do comedy, and you made a niche for yourself, and it works.
This is, to your point there.
Yeah.
So, we have a mass when you graduate 8th grade from St. Sebastian's. I don't like to brag, but may I brag for a moment?
Oh, please.
I'm the only student in the history of St. Sebastian's ever to have won, Student of the Month.
Yes.
Yeah, I won it back-to-back months.
I don't know it well because I never would have gotten that, but sure.
Yeah, I won it back-to-back months. It was July and August.
I was like...
Okay. See, now that's an original.
Like that was a good one because you had me for a sec, and then I'm like, wait, but I actually went to school in July and August because I had summer school.
Same with me. I went quite a bit. I went a lot.
I was not a good student.
So we had these, we had a priest, and they would do a mass, and this priest said, he went over the list and he picked some of the kids out, and he said, "Oh, Craig Geraghty wants to be a stand-up comedian." Now, I'm not very tall. And he said, "A stand-up comedian, the problem is nobody will know when he's standing." And all these people laughed. And but I remember sitting there that day thinking, you son of a bitch.
Right?
Like, because I felt like there was this thing that I was like, all right, I'll share a little of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I wrote it down. And then to have somebody sort of like stomp on it.
Squash that. Yep.
Here it is. It's nearly 30 years later. And I still remember that feeling because, and this is what I tell people, like people say, hey, my daughter wants to get into acting. Can you talk to her? And I, always say, you want me to talk her out of it? And usually they're like, yeah. And I never do. But anytime I talk to somebody young who has questions about it, is I say it's really got to burn in you. Like it's got to be what you do. It's got to be what you were born to do. If you happen to be one of the lucky people who stumbles into it and catches a break, good for you. But the guttural burning desire and the fear of not being able to do it has got to be there. If it's not there, save yourself the time. And I don't mean that to sound like a tough guy. No. But save yourself the time, because it's going to show up. This. It's going to show up on camera when you audition. Yeah. It's going to show up in your work ethic. And where it will really, really, truly show up is when you meet with constant rejection. You'll leave. You'll just get out of the thing right away. Yep. So save yourself the time. And then if people say, no, this is what I'm born to do, that's okay. Well, then let's keep talking. And I'm here for as long as you want to keep talking.
I'm completely, it's so true. My acting teacher, I remember him, my old acting teacher, he would say, he's supposed to be inspiring us, right? But he would say to the class, he'd go, if you could walk away right now and do anything else and be reasonably happy, walk away right now. and the thing is that that's the truth. Mm-hmm. I couldn't be reasonably happy turning my back. Like, I swear I could cry the thought of that, because it's not supposed to be. It's just something that it's like a truth. And it doesn't make it easy. I don't have a job that brings in steady income, like it's freelance, but I just can't walk away. For today, I can't walk away. I'm not supposed to yet.
No, not today.
Forever.
Not today, and I know that too. I know for myself, it's definitely not today. And like I was saying, that comes with, first you almost have to admit it. Yep. You have to admit it to yourself, like, oh shit, I can't go anywhere. Yep. And then you've got to own that. And I hate to say you got to own that, because that's what the Real Housewives always say. Do they? No, I don't care what she said. She's got to own it. She's got to own it. But as long as you fully are in on it, and then you can look at like my case is like my wife. It's never like so how long is this gonna last? Like, she understands fully that this is a part of me, just like my fluffy hair is a part of me. And good for you, man. Not everybody's got fluffy hair. Well, it's fluffier than normal. My buddy Carmine, who is in the business as well, he tells me, he goes, you don't understand, Craig. He goes, you've got an advantage over us because of your hair. That's and I'm like, what? He goes, trust me, your hair is a weapon. It's a weapon. You weaponized. I have a lot of things that I want to comment on. You spoke about not doing this in high school, not doing it in college, having another job, not doing acting at all. And there's so many people I come across in the business and that I have, and I always felt like maybe I don't belong here because I didn't study it. My mom, and by the way, when I said earlier that I'm sorry for your loss, that's actually a phrase that I freaking hate. And I know people mean well, but I lost my mom to cancer when I was 16. And I always hated that. I'm sorry. I just hated it. So when I say it to people, when they've lost, I'm just like, oh. So, but. No, I appreciate it. I know. I trust me. I get that. And there was a part of myself that
kind of shut down, and I didn't do anything creative through college. I always said, I'm an actor. I'm an actor. I did nothing. I would not be in any of the plays. And also because of things that people said, like you said, you know, like, he could do stand up. We won't know if he you know, that comment, there are comments that haunt me till this day that people have said to me. And when I'd be on stage, there are people that are even family members and stuff would shout things that were so hurtful from the audience when I was really little. And it was like, and embarrassed me and make me feel this big. And they've haunted me to this day. And those are kind of those things that where it's like, I got to fight because that can't keep me. So I just wanted to say, like, for other people out there, for any of you out there that haven't had the experience and feel like you're not supposed to be here because you don't compare to everyone else that either studied it in school or had all this knowledge about it, it doesn't matter. If it's your truth, if it's like Craig, you know, like myself, go for it.
That's such an important thing because, well, not to get, you know, but, you know, look, American society says things like, you know, you want this, you go to school, you study this, now you're this.
Right. Now you're this.
Now I haven't done, you know, but I didn't study this, so how can I still be this? And, you know, you meet assholes in every profession, right? And I've met plenty in this profession who would sort of detect that you did not have their pedigree and would weaponize that. And I'm like, wow, that's nasty. But there was also a part of me which was like, he's right. And
deep down, that
it
stoked that fear and self-doubt.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, as I mentioned before, my buddy Carmine Famigletti, you may have come across him in the casting world. I'm not sure, but he doesn't do a lot of commercials.
Okay.
But Carmine, again, sort of self-taught, very much self-taught. And his first feature film, he drops it in a mailbox and it goes to Sundance.
Wow.
And this was something that he acted in, he wrote in, did a wonderful, tremendous job. His second feature goes to Tribeca.
Oh my God.
And, you know,
congrats.
Carmine and I were friends before the business, and we're still, you know, we're tremendous friends, great friends, business or not business, you know, whether we're at a Met game or we're talking shop. And he put me in a position, and a couple other friends, my buddy Richie, to direct a feature film. I mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
And
I have questions.
the reason I bring it up is because, you know, yesterday Jerry Stiller passed away.
I know.
And what a legend. So
I didn't know he was, I was not happy that he was as old as he was, because it still sucked, but, you know, but I was like, oh, he lived a, you know, long life. Like, I'm happy. But he's amazing. Absolutely. Yeah.
And,
go ahead.
I got to direct his wife, Anne, in a feature film. So and her co-star was a gentleman by the name of Phil Bosco, who was Phil was epic, just such a talent. And I was like, you know, I put it in quotes, the director, right? These two people, between the two of them, had over 100 years of experience. Beautiful. And I would be like, action. That was great. That was great. You know,
we're good here. We're good. We got it.
So, and I met Jerry through the process because at some screenings and things like that, he was such a very, you know, I didn't have great experience with him, but he was such a nice guy. So all my experiences with him, he was so kind, so nice. And one of the things that Ann Mira had said, we're kind of just sitting around one day, and she grabs my hand and we're talking. She goes, you know, you run such a nice set. You and Carmine, it's really nice. You know, there's no assholes here. This is real. It's like a family. This is nice. And I remember thinking to myself, that's one of the best compliments I've gotten in the business, because it had nothing to do with being in the business. It had nothing to do with having gone to film school or an acting school. That was just simply something that meant a lot to us, which was, first and foremost, we're going to be good people on this set.
I was going to say who you are and what you bring to the world.
Yeah. And here's somebody with 50 years in the business, and that's what she's picking up on.
I get why that is such a beautiful compliment, and it means so much. And I have to say that while you were telling the story, I was just sitting here thinking to myself, you're a generous actor. You're a generous person. You are a kind person. And people, can maybe, you have a big personality and maybe people might think, oh, he jokes and blah, blah. You have such a warmth and
Thank you.
a genuine quality to you. And that's why she said that, in my opinion. That's why she said
thank
that.
you. I appreciate that.
I get that just in talking to you right now. And I'll say this, because I do want to hear more about the work that you've done. But it's funny because when I ran into you, I don't know, a few months ago before Corona, and I said to you I asked you if you had auditioned for a film a while back that I was part, and I remembered it was a big film, and I'm like pretty positive that it was you, and they liked you so much, but you didn't quite fit for that part. I'm pretty sure it was you. And they had you go out and read for a different part because they liked you so much that they wanted to give you an opportunity to find some way for you.
Yeah, that does sound familiar now.
I know. And the lovely thing about that, because I remember that so well, but what's so beautiful is that when I said it to you, you were like, oh, maybe. Like, there was no ego to it. You didn't have to write it down. It's like, that was the greatest day of my life. It was like, yeah, that's part of what I do. Maybe that could have happened. And it was like, it was just nice. It stuck with me.
Sincerity is, I appreciate that. I was being sincere because
I know
one of the good things about having been in the business a long time is, and I don't mean this like, screw you want just take me for my talent. But like, there's a there's a fakeness, right?
Yeah.
There's a fakeness to like, hey, how's it going? All that kind of stuff. And I get why younger actors have to do that because that's part of it. I mean, that's part of the deal.
Unfortunately.
And I don't knock them for it. I don't make whatever. That's their gig. But as you get a little older and you see the same faces in casting and things like that, I say to myself, there's a reason why Stacey Geraghty calls me on a lot. And it's not because I sent a Christmas card. It's not because I gave her a big hello or, I double liked something on Instagram. It's because she's said, I got these clients. You match the description. I know your work. You're a good example of what I want to show these people. So then that sort of eliminates the idea of having to be sort of fake with one another. And you get to actually just be yourself. And how oh my God, how hard it's like when you're in the room when people say, just be yourself when you're going in for an audition. It's like somebody tell me, Craig, be 7 feet tall.
Right.
What do you mean? I can't be myself. But as you get, when you're in with a good casting director, and you guys have a great team over there. I'm
freelance, so it's always different. But they are a great team.
But
yes.
I think I auditioned with you. It was a voiceover.
Yeah.
When
you've auditioned me a bunch.
And certain times, you're just more comfortable because you're like, these people know what I'm good at, and we're here to just do the work and move on. And I find it really. I have a lot of empathy for younger actors who are trying to act, trying to book a job, and at the same point in time, trying to think they need to impress somebody with something,
Trying to please and be who I say this to the actors that I teach all the time. I interrupted you. I'm sorry. Please go ahead.
No, go. I was starting to ramble.
I was just going to say that don't try and be who you think they want you to be.
Exactly.
You bring nothing to the table when you do that.
Oh,
it's all lost.
It's mind reading.
I know.
And chances are you're not going to be right.
Right. And the reason, like you said, like the reason you get called in over and over is because you've gotten more comfortable being yourself, and you trust that. You trust more in your talent, even though I'll speak for myself, I still have those voices and stuff. There's a security that comes with time and practice and seeing that doesn't always go your way, but then there's something else that goes your way and you just roll with it.
Yeah.
And so people get to know you. They like you as a person. They know your work. And so then they could be like, I vouch for this guy. Let's bring him in. And that happens.
I still feel like when I go into, because the commercial world in New York City, that's definitely where I have most of my success and certainly most of my opportunities. So I have a little more comfort there. But I still feel I get an immense nervousness when I go in for certain casting directors in like TV or film. And I'll find myself thinking like, what do they want? And I'll have to remind myself, like, you don't know.
You're right.
So don't guess. Just go in and do what you think this thing is.
Right.
But I have to remind myself of that. That like, go in and do your best work and move on. And the other stuff as like, you guessing. No, not gonna work.
Because so much is the after process. That's it. It's like all you can do is go with your instinct on the material, prepare in the way that you prepare that's best for you, go in there, and then what I try and tell myself, have fun. Like my best auditions, I have fun. I play, and it's like, and then I'm on, and I know those go well.
That is very true.
It's so true.
It's like a weightless feeling. And it's when it comes with being, and this is the beauty of casting directors who make you feel like you're here to sort of pitch me. Right. I'm not exactly sure what I want. Let's see what you got. Mm-hmm. And I've had plenty of casting directors in the middle of it just stop me. No. And you're like, oh.
It hurts. It's like, oh.
I'm a terrible memorizer, right? So I probably shouldn't say this out loud, but I'm a terrible memorizer. So
I hear you.
And I need glasses when I have to read off a script now.
Yeah.
So the idea of me holding the script and not wearing glasses, I might as well be holding a catcher's mitt. So every now and then, so I'm like, I'm going to wear these. And then the cast director's like, can we do it without the glasses?
You're like, no, like, actually I can't.
No, it's you let me make up the words. And I'm going to get probably 80% of them right. Either you let me do it that way, or I put the glasses on and I just read off the page. Yeah,
it's
and like the good ones are the ones who are like, great, just do your thing.
Exactly.
Gail Keller I love auditioning for her. Yeah, because I had gotten all these lines down for this pretty long script. Yeah, and. We walk in, she goes, okay, so I'm going to say most of the words back to you. You say whatever you want. And I'm like,
that's a dream.
I wasted a weekend memorizing, but no problem. And we have, turns out this great audition. And I just feel, because basically what you're saying is, I know what you're good at. I'm going to put you in a position to succeed. And you're like, wow, that's so great. And, a couple of weeks later, I'm in a room with Judd Apatow and Pete Davidson, and before we walk in, I go, Gail, what do you want me to do? And she goes, he's going to stick to the script. You do what you do. So Pete Davidson's he's reading off his script. Judd Apatow's sitting there, and I did not have, not an ounce of nerves, not an ounce.
Oh my God.
Because she basically said, here's how you succeed. And she put me in that spot.
She set you up to succeed.
Yeah.
And that's a good casting director does that. Like
absolutely.
That's such an awesome story.
She's great. I didn't get the part, but she actually.
But that's almost it's besides the point because there's so much that after that.
But I know because my agent had said, that, and we saw each other later on. She's like, Judd thought you were great. He thought you were great, but this, that, the other thing. She goes, but I really want you to know how you did. I really appreciate that. I'm so grateful. Thank you. Move on. I put it in the file of Swedish Fish and Preparation H.
But that's what it, you know what? And this is what I find. And I do better when I find, like that saying that, you want to go in there. It doesn't matter whether you book the role, but you want to book the room. Mm-hmm. And I think that I try and have faith that by bringing my best self and my best work forward, I may not get everything, but in time, building the relationships, people seeing you over and over, it's going to do what it's going to do. I have to just have faith in that.
Yeah.
and just do my part, faith and footwork, you know?
Well, there's an expression, I'm going to ruin the story, but it's something about somebody who trusts, who trusts in a higher power. He's wandering through the desert. He does trust in a higher power.
Yeah.
But he ties his camel up to the tree every night. Meaning, well, if you have total trust in the higher power,
Right.
why are you worried about the camel walking off? Well, don't be stupid either. Do your work. Do your work. Tie the camel to the tree. Do the footwork. You have to bust your ass.
Yeah.
And you've got to learn. And I kid about some of these jobs that I didn't get because for no reason at all, it's probably where I was in my head at that moment in time, why that one job is sticking in my head.
Right.
It's because I was doubting myself or something. And I'm like, if I don't get this one, I'll never make it. But really, most of the time, they do fall away because you're just doing the work.
Yep. And such a lesson there. And I think, I don't know, I hope people that have not, I don't know if you can learn that lesson without having the experience. I just don't know if it's possible. You can hear you say it and me say it, but I don't know.
If you're somebody who's just got it, who's just got it like that, who can be like that, and then God bless you.
Yeah, right. That's the thing is, I think I always think a lot of people are like that, but they're not. People are just really good at pretending that they got it.
I saw an actor who books a lot, good guy. And I'm like, oh, he's always so chill. And then I saw him at an audition and he must've asked 15 people in the room if they had gotten a call back about another audition from last week. And he went to did you get a call back? You get a call back? You get a call?
Yep.
And I looked at it and I was just sitting there myself like, oh, he's going in for this audition. He's flipping out about the one from last week.
Right.
And I like I said, I'd be lying if I was never that guy. But I'm cognizant of it. I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
And
awareness.
That's it. And then there are days where I'm like, Craig, this is what you're doing. Relax. And I'm at my best when I can recognize it and move on. I'm at my worst when I let it consume me.
Yeah. I identify wholeheartedly with that. And you've done the work. You continue to do the work. I hear it and I see it in you. And it's good stuff. And
Thank you.
I'm grateful that you did and that you and your wife found each other, Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
And like, I always tease her, like, if she's putting makeup on my face if she's putting makeup on my face before she's about to read Amy Schumer's lines for an audition. And I'll always say to her, I'm like, oh, you thought you were going to marry a banker. You totally thought you were going to wind up with some tall, lean hunk who did not ask you to put makeup on him. And she will be the first one to say like, oh, I totally thought that. And
so
she's
funny.
Happy. She's happy with what she wound up with. So
I feel like the person that it winds up being is so much better than any idea that you could ever have, at least in my case.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more.
You're so awesome. And I know there's so much work and you've directed and you write and you told me about a project, a pilot project called Tales from 2G.
Yeah.
What's that one?
It's been in the pipe for a long time. And it's not, this is nothing near happening right now, but one of the things I have been working on during this pandemic, I started working on it long before this, but it's been getting more attention now. And I definitely am one of these people who see somebody on social media who posts something. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, look at this guy. He's killing it. He's running the pandemic. He's owning it. And look at me. I made toast. And that was like 4 days ago and I'm still bragging about it.
I know. It was good toast. It was.
Great toast. Remember that toast, honey? Remember that toast?
Perfectly toasted.
Man, that was great toast. Oh, that was good toast. So I had come up with this thing. I'm going to unwind.
Oh,
mind?
Oh, please. Get comfy, man.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if I knew how to make the clip on.
Look, we get two different looks. It's like slating you with and without glasses, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Hold on a second here.
We're switching it up?
Yeah, well, it's kind of getting towards evening.
I love this.
Yeah,
This is,
really,
we're winding down now.
oh, I don't want you to take it that way, but I can tell that, it's past 4:30, and I wouldn't want to be caught dead with a maid bow tie past 4:30.
I mean, what are you, crazy? Who does this?
As Alec Baldwin once said, what am I, a farmer? There you go. That's better. So I was
so much better. It all makes sense again. Thank you.
Absolutely. It was like almost 20 years to the day when I had, from my first time doing stand-up, and I had this show, and it went great. It was like 25 minutes. Came off, and like it was that same feeling as, oh God, that was just so great. That's what it's meant to be. I was doing all these bits about growing up in my house. I'm one of 7, and I was the 6th boy. My mom had 6 boys in a row, and then my sister came 7 years later, and yeah, we grew up in a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment.
Wow.
1.5 bath if you count the cat's box.
You have cats too? You had cats?
No, as I was saying, we didn't even have a cat.
Somebody need a place to stay.
So that's enough out of you, really. So
hey, lady!
So I had come off stage. It felt great. I did all this like old family stuff, and I was thinking of my father, who he's not with us anymore. And I was like, how do I keep these stories alive? How do I keep this going? And I thought, no, the apartment we grew up in was 2G, and I'm like, no one would believe the shit that we did there. My brothers used to like heat coins up in a frying pan,
God.
and then throw them out the window to watch people be like, oh, look at that, a quarter. It was just like nonstop insanity. And
boys.
I said, no one, exactly, boys. No one would believe these things. So not in a TV show of live action.
Right.
So what if I animated it? And I don't know anything about animation, but being from Queens, I hit a football pool. I came into a couple of bucks. I paid some guy on Craigslist. He animated some stuff for me. And I got this project going, and it got some eyes, got a really nice review from a couple of agencies and things like that, the script. And anyway, it's had a lot of bumps in the road, and I wound up with this guy who's been really liking it. We've been totally redeveloping it from an animated show into a live action show.
Really?
It's set in the 80s, and the focus is this kid, Craig, who is number 6 of 7.
Huh?
And it's basically this sort of like crazy world that he grew up in. So it's the story through like an 8-year-old man. I call him an 8-year-old man because he's doing a lot of things that an 8-year-old kid probably shouldn't be doing, or at least he thinks
He's
he's in charge of the family. And so we've really narrowed down the pilot. And I've had various shows that have gotten shopping agreements and things like that, and you're like, holy cow, it's on, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then somebody's like, yeah, meet with Lionsgate tomorrow, and you're like, holy cow. And then they call you and they're like, yeah, nothing happened. All right, I'll catch you later.
What?
It's so not like,
so crazy.
Show business is exactly like the movies and so not like the movies.
Yep.
You do get those calls. I got a call from a guy one time. He was a big time manager in LA. Holy cow, man. I just saw some stuff of yours. You are this, you are that. Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. Who are you with? I say, I'm with so-and-so. He goes, fire her. You need to be with me. And, it was, I hung up the phone and I was like, this was a phone call from a movie. He's like, you get yourself out to LA, pilot season, we're going to this, that, the other thing, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God, this is happening. I can't believe this.
Yep.
And
you're all stirred.
And and I went out to LA and like literally nothing happened. I'm calling the guy like, hey, asshole, did you set me up? What did you set me up? I'm is like,
is this fucking funny to you?
Yeah. And I told the guy, I go, I look like a real asshole. And he goes, look, this things happen. He goes, I just, I got a bunch of pilots that I'm the executive producer on. So he laid it out to me as to why it just didn't work. And I'm like, well, what's to tell me, what's to telling you to go fuck yourself?
Yeah.
He goes, I think you're a lot smarter than that. I don't think it makes sense. And I was like, well, I've thought about it.
I dip my toe in the water.
To this day, the guy who does have plenty of shows on the air, is still very generous though. Like, I mean, he still listens to when I have an idea, or if I know one of his shows is auditioning and I reach out to him, he's been very kind about saying, all right, I'll get you in the room, no promises, but I'll get you in the room. So,
that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Like, while I'm so excited about this Tales from 2G and that it's literally, I'm watering it. So it's growing. I'm also like, I don't know what'll happen. But to your point earlier about you do the work, do the work. That's number one. You can't fail or you can't succeed if you stop doing the work.
Or don't start at all.
Yeah, exactly. Or you don't start. So it comes so far with it that if it were, if there's another disappointment at the end of the road on this one, it's not going to kill me. And I don't mean it lightly. I just mean it
I know.
I just mean it like, all right, what's the next thing?
It's part of, and the thing is, as you say, next thing, it's also all part of the same thing.
Yes, exactly.
Whatever path this takes, and I'm rooting for you. Like, I really am. And that's, it may trickle, right? It may not come to fruition at this second. And then it may have not been the right time, because then you're on another project where the person that you work with, and it can come together in a way that you could have never even dreamed. And that's
absolutely.
I just say that because that's a lot of how we just said, like your wife, who she would have thought she married, and then she's so happy and she's with you, and it's totally different.
Yep.
So,
and if you leave it, I again, it's one of these people, one of these things I've told people who are just breaking in. I say, listen, I guarantee you, if you leave the business, you will not be a success. And that just does, you won't be a success in this business.
Right.
And that just does not it's not like, oh my God, that's mind blowing. Just the truth.
It is the absolute truth.
You know what I mean? And like as you said, the business is it's so big, and there's, and this is something that I've learned too, as well with the pandemic, because as I mentioned, before we were Zooming, like microphones and the ability to record from home, the ability to do this. Even like 5 years ago, we were still going into a room to audition for a voiceover. Now it happens, but not a lot. Mm-hmm. And now the buzz is, well, until further notice, you might be, if you book the job, you might be recording from home.
Home studio.
So it's okay. But this is how I make a living. And if it has to be like, sitting in my closet, which I've put soundproofing on, then that's what'll happen. And I don't know when the next time, I book something and I have to get on a plane to Florida. Those are the best jobs, like to go to Florida in February, because it just feels good. You're like, I got to go to Florida to shoot this thing.
Just this thing.
It's a big Pepto-Bismol spot.
Florida.
It's you just never know, and that I've learned that. It was great to have you reinforce it though too, that it's a big thing, and there's a lot going on to it, and you just keep going at it.
And man, good for you. Like going on Craigslist, getting an animator, for me, I stop myself dead in my tracks all the time, because I've shared this with multiple people. Like, I have an idea and then thinking about the production and that, but that would be so expensive. I could never get that and I stopped doing the project. Like I said this to somebody else. I don't know if he'd kill me, but he's a comedian, and he has 2 ideas for wonderful films. And it's those, and one of them would be animated. And it's like the idea of animation, it's like, you know, it's different than just filming but like you did that. You took that action, you made that happen. You started those wheels. I love that.
Yeah. It comes down to what can you do? And, you know, I think of like little kids or you know, actors now who say, when I was a little kid, I used to put on plays in my basement. And I'm like, that, you know, that's what you were able to do. And, there are things I'm able to do today that I wasn't able. Like, you know, I've taught myself. I'm not great, but I've taught myself how to edit enough that I can, you know, I can constantly keep cutting my own reel, or I can cut certain things. I can make some goofy commercials or whatever I want to. You know, just awesome. I can play.
Yes.
And again, it goes back to like, well, I have this thing. I have my talents. How do I get them out there? So, you know, a couple of days a week throughout the year, normally I go to libraries, and I'm standing in front of people once or twice a week telling jokes and cooking. No one's gathering in libraries right now. So now I'm in the kitchen with a tripod and I'm telling jokes to a camera. If I'm lucky, my wife is on the other side of it. Sometimes she has to come into this room to do grad school.
Yeah.
So I don't know if people are laughing. It's Facebook Live. You know, you're not getting instant stuff. You're not getting you're not getting that. So
it's a big difference.
This is all I got. Let's go. Let's see how it goes. And Facebook's a little wacky, I'm sure, with the way they do their views, but they're all getting over 1,000 views. So people are, you know, tuning in.
I can't wait to watch. That's amazing.
Getting a laugh. It's Block Island Seafood.
Yeah.
Block Island Seafood Company. And I was like, what am I going to do? I can't sit here and not do what I do. So, all right. The kitchen is now the studio.
I love it. And it's like, and what I'm gathering from that also is kind of what we talked about earlier, is like letting go of the outcome and doing it. Taking the action to do it. You got it. Like, you're in quarantine. You got to still do what you got to do.
Yeah. I told my wife, I said, never tell me how many views there are, you know, how many people are on. So I just act like there's,
very good.
You know, I act like there's 200 people on at all times. And,
that's beautiful, man.
You know, it's been nice. I've had a couple people write me on the side saying, people I don't really know because they're watching it from somebody else who shared it.
Yeah.
And just saying, hey, I needed an hour of not this. I needed an hour of, you know, you goofing around in your kitchen.
I love that.
I was like, oh, well, that's what we're trying to do.
And right there, like, and that's enough. Like that's how I kind of think. Like, if one person gets something from this, and like, even I'm like, this is great to connect, get to know you more. Like, I'm grateful for that during this time.
Yeah, this is. I was really happy that you asked me to do it because, you know, like I said, there's so much of our world is transactional, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah.
You know, there's a guy behind me who's got to get into the room.
Yep.
And when the guy in front of me is in the room, I'm like, how long is this guy going to take? What's she doing? Are they writing the script?
Or they must really like her. She's been in there a while. Okay. Or like, she's gonna book it. She's gonna book it. Like,
why should I even bother? Why should I even bother going in?
They hate me. Now they already hate me. It's such crap.
It's insane. So like, we have these moments in our world where over these years, it's like, hey, Craig, how's it going? Good. You know.
Yeah.
Some day out there. I know. All right. So anyway, here's how it's going. You're a barber, and this pumpkin, this is the guy. So you're going to be cutting.
And it's literally like, we'll give you props that are like absurd and so not what they are.
Totally.
And you
this bicycle's your wife.
Yes. Now, stroke the handlebars as if it's her hair. Act as if.
That's a lot.
Amazing. So I there's this part of my show, and it is called the Feather in Your Cap.
Nice. I like sound effects.
Yeah, so yeah, apparently you do, and I love it. You totally took my trick before I even did it.
Sorry.
No, you nailed it. So it's called the feather in your cap. And so by feather in your cap, it means a success or an achievement or something that you've learned that has maybe helped you already in your life or that may help you in the future, that you would be willing to share with people that could use it possibly right now as a feather in their cap.
That's a biggie. I'm going to purposely not mention the business, so to say, because not everybody's in our business. I would say I'm gonna. Some of my friends who see this might be like, "Would you get all spiritual?" But
I've always been. I was the best altar boy ever.
Don't you remember? Now, I would say that, one of the best things for me, the feather in my cap, or the thing that has, I would say, changed my life, is the idea of control, and the fact that I am not in control of you, my wife. I'm not in control of so many people. I'm not in control of the outcome of a job I've applied for. I'm not in control of whether somebody stops at the stop sign or not. So as hard as it is, because you always want to be working, and, you feel good. Well, I did all this work, so I should have something that I get to harvest.
Right.
And I'm not saying that you don't work hard. I'm not advising that. I work as hard as I ever have worked. But I've gotten to the idea of, letting the results go. And that is really not specific to our business whatsoever. It is really specific to my life. And I'm not great at it. I mean, I still trip and fall all the time, but I'm constantly, daily, in the morning and the night, reminding myself that I'm not in control. And it's freed me up in so many ways, because I'm not in control of your political beliefs. I still argue with people about politics, and I don't feel guilty about arguing with them about politics. I feel guilty that, why did I waste all this time trying to change somebody's mind? That's their opinion. Let them have it.
Yeah.
It's not, I'm not in control of that. I'm not in control of various things, whether it be the noise a neighbor makes, or certain things that I would allow to just drive me nuts. And, people talk about baggage, right? To me, baggage is almost, it's a choice. And if I choose to try to control all sorts of shit that's not mine to control, I'm putting on all this baggage. And I equate it to going through life, walking up a hill in the snow with carrying everything you own, as opposed to walking on a track in a t-shirt and shorts freely. And to me, the idea of control and giving it up is walking on the track on my better days. And when I try to take it back, that's walking through the snow with everything I own up a hill. And I've done that walk so many times.
Oh my God, so many.
Oh God. And both take sorry, my battery.
No, I lost you for a second. I was like, no.
And both take work. One of them doesn't produce results. The other one, walking on the track in the t-shirt, even though that takes work, I have to remind myself daily that I'm not the boss of everything. That has proven fruitful. So they both require work. One gives me no benefit. One gives me a great benefit of lightness and a little ease. And I would say that that would be my feather in I guess that's the feather in my cap. And that there are others, many feathers. I have many feathers.
You've shared many feathers.
Many feathers. But I would say that just sort of like, letting go and moving on.
It's really everything. That's a wonderful feather. And man, I identify with, it's amazing talking to you. I identify with like every single thing that you've shared. It's really, it's amazing. And
I appreciate that.
We might not have ever had a chance to have this kind of conversation otherwise.
No,
which is
not at all.
A beautiful thing. And it gives people a chance to hopefully connect with both of us. And it's really nice to have a human moment. It's really nice right now.
I hope so. And what I've been saying at the end of, these live cooking shows that I've been doing is I always say at the end of a job with whoever works with me, I said, I couldn't have done it without you, because I mean that. And I say to the audience, I couldn't have done this without you, because isolation is really dangerous. So I say to the audience at the end of each one, thanks for being here. I love you. And I couldn't have done this without you. And I also say, stay connected. I know we're not allowed to touch and things like that right now, but stay connected. Because that will bear fruit.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's
my pleasure.
I needed that reminder. Tell viewers, listeners, where they can keep up with you. I'll have your info with the episode when it posts, but please go ahead and tell us.
Well, my website for the acting world, where I have reels and things like that, commercial reels and my legit reels. I'm coming off, had a recurring on Ray Donovan this year. I'll be in the Sopranos movie that'll come out as well. Cop. I play a lot of cops. And I would say, if cops looked like me, I'd be a criminal. I couldn't stop anybody. Really, I couldn't. If I were a cop, I'd be like, hold right there. No? Okay.
All right. I'm not chasing you, buddy. I don't got it in me.
You saw me try. The guy's, he's very fast. So if you'd like to see any of the acting stuff, that's www.craiggeraghty.com. And I'm out, I have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Of course, I have all those. But where I do my live cooking, my live cooking shows, my stand-up cooking, that's called Block Island Seafood. BlockIslandSeafood.com is the website. And so that's fun. That's where I get to goof around, make good food, and tell the worst. Oh, some of the jokes are terrible, but it's fine.
That's it's really funny because when my dad tells the worst jokes, they're pure dad jokes.
Yeah.
And it's his worst jokes that I die laughing. I don't always find him funny, but it's his worst jokes that get me howling, crying, laughing.
I love bad
it.
Jokes.
Yeah. Bad jokes are great. I'm very good at them. I'm very good at bad jokes.
Well, I'm really flattered that you would include me in this, and that
I'm honored
that you'd have me with you. It's been a treat. I really mean that.
I really do as well.
To just spend time with someone who, I've seen for years, but not get the opportunity to know, and hopefully we'll get to know each other more as the years go by. But this is really really neat. I appreciate it.
Ditto, right back at you. I feel really grateful. This was such a beautiful part of my day, and just a part of uplifting me through all of this. You're really awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
That's way kind. Thank you.
Would you?
I'm going to get my wife in here. Would you just?
Actually tell her. I was going to say, tell your wife I said happy anniversary.
I will. Thank you so much.
Even quarantining, you guys just enjoy your time together.
We will. I promise.
Awesome. And guys, thank you so much. Yeah, you can't clap, but thank you, Craig, so much for being here. I know you guys are happy. He was too. See, I knew you were happy. So you know where to keep up with him. I'll post all that as well. Tune in next time. And like Craig says, I love you. We couldn't do it without you. So thank you so much. Support us, subscribe, rate, all that stuff, if it helps keep us all together. So stay safe. We love you. Craig, thank you so much again. Thank you.
Got it. Pleasure. Bye-bye.
Awesome.